a marketing model to recycle money, and it is coming to an end. I mean, I don't know what Costa thinks about the prophecies that have been made, particularly by the Rastafari and by the Aboriginal people and by some of the American Indian tribes. They were talking about these end times for Western civilization, and we're going into that time now. We're heading for a complete collapse of what we call is the Western model. We're within years. I'd say we've got about another 3 years of we call normality in the industrialized countries, and then because we're not moving back into the direction that we should be moving voluntarily, it's going to take an enormous apocalyptic collapse to make things go back there. But go back there we must, because we cannot sustain life the way we're doing it now. That's just me. You might think different. Costa, what do you think about the apocalyptic thing? Do you have any feelings around that Western culture based on industrialism is heading for destruction? What do you think?
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was they call it sovereignty here. So sovereignty is exactly what you're saying, basically self-determination, self-governing and self-reliant, not, getting drawn into the matrix like you were talking about in regards to chemical companies running the planet, whether it's via the petrochemical or the medicinal. But that's a lot of that stuff's going on here because, it is Australia and land rights, all that type of stuff. But, how can you do that unless you believe that, you could take care of your own business, but you've got to have the land to do it on. And that's, a lot of political stuff going on around it. But, yeah, I totally agree. What you say there, Mary, that's the way they're doing it here. It's, sovereignty. But then you've got the legal system here is, I just always get drawn into the legal. But that's Australia's legal system is based on the Westminster system, which you obviously know, and then the Crown, and you get, and all that conspiracy stuff. But that's what you've got to try and stay away from, which is virtually impossible here, unless...
What one of my guides is saying to me now is the land will give itself back to its people. That's the message I've just got. The land will give itself back to its people. So that suggests to me that there will be a complete root and branch change in who has the sovereignty of the land. In some ways, the Western model is destroying itself. So it doesn't have the wisdom. It doesn't have the wisdom to climb down, so it's going to fall down. Yeah.
But it's like the communities in the US, the original people over there did the what they call tribes, or they call it communities. They're they throw all this money at them. They just destroy the communities, and the same thing's happening here. But I don't know about Canada, but we have got a couple of people here, tribes, that have got their own area. They've got their own legal system, law, police, their own court systems, which is separate from the government. But how that's working, I'm not really sure. But I don't think the government's going to let everyone have their own little country in Australia.
Costa, a slightly different question for you. Have you been to an Aboriginal healer? And if yes, I'd really be interested to talk us through the process, exactly, what happened, how did they do it and stuff.
Yeah. Good question, but you're not going to like the answer because what's happened here is because the establishments that run whatever places, this is my experience, so I'm not going to put them under the same umbrella, is they can just get someone and say they call them nunkeries here, that's particular name they use, the energy healers, medicine people, and they label them as a nunkery and they make a fortune out of it. But what I know is to be able to see one, you have to go out in the desert, and it's really hard to get to the proper hands-on type stuff. And from people I know in the community, there's people that there's not that many left because it's a lineage that's handed on. There's some great literature about it written by him, but yeah, I had a really bad experience. They said an hour and a half, and the woman was she was a white woman. I'm not saying it's because she's white, but she was looking after him, and I felt a lot of anxiety about it. And said an hour and a half per person, and it's like went 20 minutes, and I didn't get anything from it, and
I guess she was kind of trying to at least sort of follow the methods of those who are out in the desert. So kind of what sort of methods was she actually following then in what she attempted to do?
Yeah, hands on. They're these people, from what I've been told by another Aboriginal friend, is that they live with the light and the dark out there, spirits. Here we have a word called marmul, which is, the spirits. I don't know if you have had the experience. I'm sure you have. You see that little spirit through the corner of the eye. That's the type of, they're actually living with, and they can, use that, like a shamanic thing, go to that spirit and call them in and that type of stuff. But they're definitely other stuff I know about. They still, there's been movies about it and that, but people laugh about it. They still practice black magic up there in the communities. But it's all about spirits. Their stuff's about spirit in the rock. Like if you've got something wrong with you, there's it's a spirit cause, so they got to get that out. But there is some good resources about it, but actually getting to it, I had a bad experience basically. I don't want to let you down, but I know where to go. I don't know what England's like, but here we're a big country and you can travel 1,000 kilometres and there's nothing in between. They're the sort of distances you'd have to go to and whether they're going to do anything or not, because sorry.
So the one you tried was her method was sort of spiritual as well, was it?
Yeah. Whether they were a nunkery, whether they were the real deal or not, I'm never going to know.
But what did she try to do? Like she didn't succeed.
Alignment, yeah.
This sort of the language of the horn. Yeah, something that I've never considered before. What a lovely idea. You can almost...
We got double trouble. No, it was hands-on healing, Kit. Hands-on.
Oh, hands-on healing. Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a bit like Reiki, basically.
Universe. Yeah. Some of it. There's, it's very secretive, which is fair enough because it's exploited here in this, in Australia. But there's, like I said, there's some good text written about it, but and there's some good YouTube stuff around. If you're interested, I can organise, send it to you, whatever.
Was any different, like overall, any difference compared to like, because Reiki is like, I mean, the basics behind Reiki is people attune to a certain frequency, a kind of common frequency. They're transmitting energy through themselves, and then within Reiki, I think you sort of got two types. One who sort of transmits broad energy and sort of says, let the body get on with it, and knows where to take it, and people who sort of direct energy to very specific areas to try to do specific things. Well, how's that different from the Australian system?
Well, they use different herbs too here. Okay, as a medicine. I know of some of them. I've got, I've been given the blessing to have access to them and use them. Also, singing. Someone was talking about singing to plants, and they've got, they have a thing here. They call it "You've Been Sung." They can, sing you to death. Or sing you to life. You've been sung. That sort of, occultish type stuff. But that's probably the main differences. But they do, they have. I've actually experienced being sung to. Elevated basically my spirit left me body for a little while.
Was it scary? Was that scary? Was it disturbing?
No, it was beautiful. I was on sacred country, so it's I suppose it's like it's just that resonance I must have been tuned into at the time. But these people were just songmen. So a songman is someone that's got traditional songs. So for a ceremonial song, when they're doing a ceremony or whatever, there's songmen that, these could be healers too, but they're songmen. They have a song to sing the spirit away, which is like, I suppose, like priests or whatever sort of priest. I know they've got songs to, sing the spirit away, or marriage songs, I suppose. But that I do know, that I've experienced. So that's the good side of it, Kit. My experiences with them. But these places, they're very difficult to get to and costly too. But if it's something you want to experience,
strange.
It's just corruption.
And herbs are kind of a part of. Are herbs integrated into like a healing session, or they're simply something separate to sort of say, well, use these herbs afterwards?
From that book I was talking about, Aboriginal. Anyway, I can't remember, but it's about Aboriginal healer. But that's a different process. This is more like it was all westernized. So went to this house and sit on the massage table, or lie down, whatever, depending on what you've gone there for. That's how that was. But
that particular session, so we said that outside of that, you've watched lots of different videos on YouTube about how there's a few. So you talk about herbs there. So like I'm saying, how were they using the herbs? Was that part of the healing session or just a separate item?
Oh, that's separate. Or part of. So there's certain, it's like teas, I suppose. You make it like a tea, a brew up. It's for overall, healing, and well-being stuff. But there's secretive, like cancer cures too.
Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Kosta. I wanted to nip back to trees and plants because I douse my plants. I mean, I just know that you can ask them what they want. Like you can move their position. What do you need? One of them was desperate for fertilizer. But what I'd like to know, and I have sung to them to increase their aura as well, and obviously measured it. But what I'd like to know is, has anybody addressed a group of plants instead of just communicating with one, like this wood or this bamboo, all of this bamboo, or the trees I can see over there on that hill, all of those trees. And because you can speak to people in a group and they can chant back to you. I'm just wondering, what is the what's come back? Has anyone tried mass address with it, anticipating an impression back?
Yes,
Back?
I have now whole groups of woodland, and when you look at woodland, sometimes you can see this overarching sort of connection between the trees as well, so that they have a consciousness where they can impart almost like a vision of something rather than talk back. So there was a woodland on a hilltop near me, and I asked, what you were there for, and their answer back was that they were together protecting something, so they wouldn't tell me what, but there's information there. And then from in my garden I grew lots and lots of flowers for my daughter's wedding, and I told all the flowers that they were coming to a wedding, and they all grew beautifully, and they all came together for me to pick and take in the celebration. And there was a real bubbly energy around them.
This is a funny question now. It just occurred to me. Has anyone spoken to plants in the sea? Seaweed? And they've all gone.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
And
they're kind of like so valuable to us as humanity. They're so full of nutrients. We used to eat seaweed all the time. As a naturopath, there's a lot of medicines that are based on seaweed that we eat. So like kelp is really good for your thyroid, and sea vegetables were in human diets on a regular basis right up until about 40 years ago.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Some of them move about, don't they? They float about, and some of them are. Well, I suppose when they're growing, they might be rooted. I'm not a seaweed expert, but I have sent out. How can I say? Been in bed in the dark in a youth hostel, and sent out my attention to the tree outside the window, and then had this golden greeny feeling the impression coming back. That was nice. That was one tree, with permission. But I'm just interested. I think it's all there for us to discover.
Yeah.
Silence. But I found out that it's very useful for position, because some plants don't like being next to other plants.
Yeah.
Has anyone done that? Dows for position? Yeah.
Yeah. Roses are really kind of pushy. They really like their own space. Roses like their own space. No, yeah. So definitely, if you ask them, they need a lot more space than what you think they would do, and then not really happy, crowded in. But often they'll just grow crowded in. When you look at weeds, they're meant to be there. No, it's part of the cycle of what's growing around them, and clovers and things like that. They put nitrates in. They're very good. No, it's just like you have to accept what grows, and some things won't grow.
Yeah. I wish my bamboo would sort of go for a little walk away from me. Didn't say that. I'm grateful for the green, ambiance, but it's too much.
I haven't thought of dowsing plants in combinations. It's interesting. I would douse, like when I want to buy, want to buy some plants, or like online, and I'll carefully douse through all the different combinations, and I'd sort of go to these plant kind of encyclopedias to douse through the different the genres of plants, and then go to the garden centre websites to try and. But I never considered that issue of kind of. I always thought of them in isolation when I was dowsing. Yeah, so it's an interesting concept of sort of how they meld together in an environment. Yeah.
Yeah, plants are never individuals. They're much more connected than we are as humans to the fact that they are part of an ecosystem, and they see us as farmers or gardeners. You know, they're kind of like they acknowledge a human. You know, you can tell your plant, you know, they're being watered, they're being fed, you know, and feed, you know, actually just from your soul, just let them know that you're tending them for their best and highest, and then you get more of a synergy with the work that you do with them. It's respect, really, and that co-creativity we have with the rest of the planet. You know, it's not.
That sounds like a good way of looking at it.
Pardon?
Sounds like a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask Kosta a question? Do you know about the Min lights in Australia? Kosta?
He is there.
Yeah.
What? Have you heard it? I know it's slightly aside of the plants for just 1 second, but have you actually seen them? Do you know about them?
Yeah, definitely.
What can you tell us about them?
They dance like driving. While driving, they're following us.
Are they on the western desert side?
In between Queen. No, it wouldn't have been western. It wouldn't have been in the Queensland going towards Arnhem Land. So I don't know what desert that is, but it was in the desert. Yep.
Yeah.
And they were following us, and from memory, they were like guarding us, taking care of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because I've heard some people have disappeared as well.
But also, I had an experience where the min-mins are, you know, a healthy colour, you know, white, whatever.
Yeah.
Nice healthy colours. There are black ones too, which are the
black min lights.
Yeah, dark orbs, whatever you want to call them. But and I got attacked and put in hospital because of them. So I've had that experience too. But but min-mins, they do exist, and they're about the size of a baseball, I suppose. Yeah, a bit bigger than a tennis ball. But there was a whole heap of them just following us on the highway, Winton, if you know Winton.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard that they follow the cars there.
Out that way. But they protect the spirit, from what I know, because another blackfella brother of mine, he was camping somewhere, and there was a whole heap of them around him there at night, and he found out the next day it was a burial place.
Oh.
So, but they do exist for sure. I believe they're related to orbs, because they've got a they do have a consciousness.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but they're there. And
what do the Aboriginals say they are?
Exactly what I said from memory.
They said, okay.
Yeah, there's stories about them. You'd find a Min story book, dreaming book. But yeah, they've got a consciousness. But yeah, they're real.
Thank you. Okay. And you've actually seen them as well, so that's interesting.
I can say I live in Australia as well, and I've seen them in the suburbs of Sydney.
Wow.
So where I used to live, in a place called Yagoona near Bankstown, there was a willow tree next door and I was in pretty thick suburbs of Sydney, western suburbs of Sydney, about 25 minutes out from Sydney city. And as a young guy, I guess in my teens, I used to see them in different colours fly past the willow tree next door, and there'd be like a trail of light behind them. Maybe mins, maybe they're fairies, I don't know, but I think that they were elemental spirits.
Interesting. Thank you.
Are you in Sydney, brother?
Nah, Northern Rivers, mate. Pottsville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I know Northern Rivers. You're in the
Mullumbimby.
Yeah, you're in the. Oh, yeah. Well, you got plenty of different energies around there, mate.
Yeah, we do. And there's a really amazing picture my partner, she sent to me when we got together, of Mullumbimby. There is a mountain called Mount Chinogan, which is just south of Mount Warning, and there are these big orb white lights, which we'd probably say they were UFOs. There's about 6 of them, and that was on the drive into Mullumbimby, where you go up and down these 2 hills, and they're just sitting there in the sky in the afternoon.
Wow.
So there's a lot of that activity around.
Yeah, caretakers.
Yeah.
Well, you're in near where the sun first hits Australia, so where that energy, so relating that to the energy,
well,
Mount Warning.
Yeah, Mount Warning, Pottsville, Mullumbimby, Murwillumbah, Byron Bay is famously known, sits within a big volcano, an old ancient, volcano. Yeah, there's a range that goes around the northern part of where we are at the Queensland border, and it's called the Caldera. It's an old volcano crater. So there's some pretty powerful energies through here and ley lines that come through. There's a place I visited out the back of Yukai, which is out the back of Mullumbimby, and more out Murwillumbah way, called Doon, and we were on a property there that looks right up at Mount Warning, and there's a very strong ley line through there that I was dowsing, and the lady who owned the property later told me that another dowser had been on a property once before and said there was a major heart line that ran all the way to Uluru.
It does. It goes right across to Beagle Bay. It goes. That's Seven Sisters songline. So it goes right across there. From where you are, it goes to trying to remember Chiringa Island. You know Chiringa Island? Yeah, it goes across there. Yeah.
So is it a big one, like really wide?
What do you mean?
Well, I was on the property, and I still consider myself a novice dowser. I got taught by a man named Michael Pointer from England when I was 19.
Yeah, I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's passed away now. I used to be good friends with him for a while.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just was doing some dowsing on a property, asking how wide this was, and this big ley line, and I was getting things like it was 3 k's wide. I don't know if that's correct or.
Yeah. Depends.
Can they be that big?
Yeah. That's 30 meters, depending on, because where you are. There's a lot of water, and you've got a lot of vortexes and all sorts of stuff going on there. But that what you're talking about could be a combination of a lot of different things. But I know my ancestor, she used to go up there to a particular healing spot. So there was a place there where the artists used to go to in that area where you are. That's well known. But that's the crossing of two lines up there, creating a vortex, and that's where this place was. But where you are, it's just from Byron Bay, coming across to where you are, and then you got the Black Duck songline, which goes along the east coast, goes right from Sydney down to Victoria. So that'll hook up to where you are. But
Yeah, there's. You're right. There's something about this area. My girlfriend, she's a clairvoyant astrologer. She said to me, this area has a big impact on people when they move into it. There's something about the caldera, and I would say that I've been here 4 years up from Sydney, and the emotional upheavals and changes.
Too quick. It's too hot is the term I use. It's too fast, that mountain energy. Because I've got it up here where I'm in a volcanic area, but a lot of iron, so it travels quick. But where you are, it's too quick for some people. But that area there is there's a lot of people that I'm involved with Australia wide, whether they're black, white fellas, anthropologists, archaeologists, all about songline stuff, which is that's how I know it.
Can I go to water dowsing? Has anybody tried for confirmation when they think they found a flow underground, tried asking a tree with a deep taproot, can you confirm that there is a deep flow? That are you aware of this flow? Has anyone tried that? Does anyone do water dowsing?
Are there any other water dowsers on, really?
You what?
The question is, are there any other water dowsers on right now? Full stop, really.
Okay. I don't know. Can we see all the people attending either? I suppose we can at the moment.
I have heard so.
Richard, you're archaeological, aren't you? You're not water.
I cover everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm not committing myself at all.
Yeah, you can work it the other way around. So you find a tree, particularly if it's an oak or something like that, they'll be on a water line and you can track it from them and follow it back.
I mean, we need depth for potability, but I'm just wondering if a deep taproot, they still might be, because how far down do their roots go? Probably as tall as the tree, I believe.
Yeah.
So it could work.
Yeah, you're talking meters.
Amazing.
Yeah, they'll find a fissure, and
that's what. Yeah,
the strongest oaks are over water.
That's what I like about these sessions. You never know what you're going to come up with.
No. Yeah, but I mean, some trees are very water hungry, and if they get taken out of the environment, it will cause flooding. No, it's a ecological impact. No, on the biosphere of the landscape.
Okay. Interesting.
Can I ask, you guys in Australia, do you meet up with any other dowsers? Are you in any groups?
Yeah, I'm a member of a couple of societies, but I've decided to opt out because of the direction of the, particular doesn't interest me. But I have connected with a few people that aren't in these societies, but see, I basically specialise in earth energies and that type of thing, and not everyone's into that. So some are into pendulums and healing, but we connect.
Because
are there any? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, are there any big UFO groups out there? Kosta or Ben, because talking about there seems to be a lot of activity there. Are there any big UAP groups?
I think there is a lot of activity. I'm part of a Facebook, just a member in Australia UFO sightings, I think it's called, and I'm noticing loads of reports people are talking about up and down the East Coast, from Sydney up to where we are, up on the Gold Coast, which is 30 minutes from here. Just people are just posting, and it's really great to see people getting more confident to post, because some real, sort of dimwits that are in there that like to throw their opinions around. But I feel like people are getting more confident to speak about what they're seeing, and so I think we're getting a bit more of a measure that there's a lot more activity than I thought. I myself experienced seeing things in the western suburbs of Sydney, again, where I was in Yagoona.
Really?
You wouldn't, in a major city, I never would have thought I would, but I saw these very huge basketball-like orange lights.
Uh-huh.
This is back in the late 90s, so it was around about 98, I think, when I was 18. And a lot of Sydney saw it. There were lots of reports of it. It seems indicative to the area too. I found an old book in one of our local libraries at Bankstown Library when I was probably about 17, and I'd just been reading about, it was about 56 pages long or 90 pages long, this book, and it was all written by a local guy of the area in the 1950s talking about these large orange lights, and they sort of glow like the sun is the only way I would describe it. It was like a dazzling. It was a dazzle. And there was all these reports in this book, and then a year and a half later, I saw them myself with my family standing out in the backyard, and there was a number of them that floated overhead. And then that went on for 3 months. We had about 3 or 4 sightings of those orange lights, and then never again.
Wow.
But yeah, just to answer your question, there's definitely activity.
A lot of activity,
happening a lot now, I think. Do you guys see the same in England or hear of?
Well, your orange light sighting reminded me of Dr. Stephen Greer in America.
Oh, yes. Yes, I like his stuff.
He actually captured them on video. It's on YouTube. It's fascinating stuff. So I know what you're talking about because I've actually seen them on his film, which was filmed by the group members. It's interesting.
Yes, I think there's an amping up of all of that at the moment, and I definitely ascribe to Dr. Stephen Greer's stuff. I think he's doing some amazing work.
Yeah.
But I've always been fascinated by your crop circles over there. When I was 26 and I travelled England a lot and up into Scotland, went around the area of Avesbury there and Stonehenge, but Avesbury... Yeah, just wanting to find the crop circles, but I think I was too late in the season. Apparently it's past harvest and there weren't any around. But I think there's something fascinating. You guys must do a bit of travel and look into that with dowsing.
Well, funny enough, I was there about 2 weeks ago in Avebury for the first time. Yeah. And I went into the gift shop and I said to the lady, do you have any stories to tell? And she did. And she was telling us about... I think it was in 2005, excuse me, a group of German visitors, young students came and there had been a crop circle and they decided to camp on the crop circle at night time. And then they had an experience which made them go to the village and frantically knock on people's doors because of what had actually happened to them during the night. And she said that apparently, whilst they were sleeping, they were all woken. They all felt they had to get out of their tents. And when they came outside, they were met by these orbs that were floating, about 4 or 5 orbs. And they were terrified. They didn't know what they were because they were quite large, like the size of footballs. Anyway, they stepped away, and apparently these orbs then also stepped back. And then one of the students decided to move forward and put his hands out. This is what she told me. He put his hands out, and one of the orbs came towards him and rested in his hand. And he gave out this almighty scream. And apparently he said that he could not believe how, these were the words she said, he said he could not believe how much love there was in the universe. And eventually these people, these students, started playing with these orbs. And the orbs kept floating in and out of their hands. And this happened for about 2 hours. And eventually the orbs left. And after that, that's when they started banging on the village's doors about 1 a.m. or whatever, saying, we have to tell you what's just happened. We have to share it with you. Wow. So it's very exciting. Yeah, it was interesting.
That's beautiful. That's interesting because I just remember from Gaia productions I've watched, and there was one comment that just rings to mind as you were telling that about the crop circles in England in particular. that they're done by alien races that are trying to help awaken humanity. So there might be those that maybe aren't have the best idea for us, that are, you know, been involved in our planet for centuries. But the crop circles, you know, hearing you tell that story about orbs and that sensation of love, sounds like that aligns well with what the crop circles are, these attempts to benevolently trying to show us things.
Mm. You're nice to know what the symbols mean, because they all have very different shapes, don't they? I didn't believe in crop circles until she kind of went into detail about this. I just thought they were man-made, but then after this encounter that the students had, it made me think, oh, there must be something in this.
I know there definitely is. If you look at some of the documentaries people have done about the crop circles themselves, the stalks keep growing. They're actually bent over and still are alive and grow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's one of, it was an English documentary I watched once very many years ago. And the measurements that they take of the outer circles to other circles, the mathematics involved in the alignment of circles and shapes connected within the same image is quite staggering. So, yeah, the whole man-made hoaxing sort of came about a decade after crop circles were starting to show up.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an extraordinary area there, Avesbury and Stonehenge, of course. I once got told by the dowsing friend that taught me, Michael, he said, when I eventually was to go to Stonehenge, and I don't know why he said this, maybe someone can answer. He said, when you go to Stonehenge, walk the opposite way around than what they tell you to walk.
Oh.
So I just intuitively did something like 21 laps going anti-clockwise. And I never understood what he meant by that. Why?
Yeah. Did you feel anything?
It was a blustering cold day.
Right.
Felt a little strange walking past everybody on going the wrong direction. I don't know. I think these places are activation points for us. So I think just by being there.
Was that in the day when you could get up to the stones? Where's he gone there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
imagine.
wow.
Yeah, I was 26, so we're talking like 20 years ago now.
Yeah, I also did get that chance. Luckily. Yeah.
Apparently you can still do it if you're a druid.
Oh.
You have to have a druid passport. And they'll let you in at night time. You can have access to it at night.
Wow.
Geez, that'd be a good passport to have.
Yeah, there's a couple of times a year when you can get tickets to get in. No, you just have to stalk English Heritage website to find them and get them.
And how much do they charge you?
I think it's about 18 quid a head, if I remember rightly, something like that. Yeah, but they're I went to Avebury Ring and I had exactly the same experience, but to go around anti-clockwise and the opposite direction that everyone else was walking. And I've often wondered why that was, and whether it's something to do with our polarization as we keep doing something. We're unbalancing the energy of the ring, and we need to walk it anti-clockwise to balance it, because there's normally two flows with every energy, and it just like one will get overcharged and become dominant. No, I just but it's interesting, someone else had exactly the same. Yeah,
That's great.
Do you have circles in Australia? Do you have any like hinges and things there?
I think Kosta would probably be able to answer that better than I.
Kosta, do you have any hinges up there?
No, we sort of. But a hinge is a mound of dirt, isn't it, from memory, with a ditch? Is that right?
No, is it where the stones are placed in position?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking of something. Yeah.
Dominic, in the last call, Dominic from Victoria mentioned the Australian version of Stonehenge.
Oh.
Yeah, that's that. Not sure which one you're talking about, but there's one that was destroyed, but the other one.
Oh no.
Yeah, the other one. I'm in touch with the elder who looks after it. And I don't know what I call it Stonehenge, because the tallest rock is about 1.5 foot off the ground. So yeah, yeah. But it's what they call here borers. Borers means ceremony site, and they're basically, from what I know and from my dowsing experience, they're on a vortex or a portal, or connected to another sacred area, but they are a circle, and they call them borer rings. So it's a ring, and also they have a separate one, which is where the initiates, because it's an initiation site, where they have the initiates. They go from one small circle to another. So there's different energies involved there. But, I've doused that one that you talk about, the Stonehenge one, and that one, it's connected to other sacred sites too. So we don't really have anything, like really huge. There are, taller, maybe a meter or so, that are like healing. They're the same concept of, placing on a healing area. So but they're only small, and like I said earlier, a lot of it's hush hush because of exploitation, and they want to get rid of that knowledge here, which is sad. I'm sure Ben knows what I'm talking about in the area he's from.
Yeah. Well, they closed off Mount Warning. They don't want people up in there, and there's some good justification for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because it's a male or female ceremony. That's the tribal. I know people from up there, but borer rings are more up your way, Queensland, New South Wales area, for some reason. There'd be a reason behind it. But the one we've got down here is that, I've got access to, is more shaped like a turtle or a stingray. And like I said earlier, it's, they're connected to their star lord, but that's what Stingray is a constellation here too. It's in Victoria, the one I'm talking about. But yeah.
Is there
Kosta,
a map
do you know?
Sorry.
Sorry, Kosta, do you know much about the pyramids that are supposedly here? There's one called Black Butt Mountain, I think it's called, in northern Queensland.
Yeah. That you're talking Black Mountain or
Black Mountain? It is. Yes, Black Mountain.
Yeah, that's where you don't want to go.
Yeah,
because you don't come back. Yeah. So
what?
Obviously,
what happens there?
Do you disappear?
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah, that's the story. Is dark spirits there. The people have gone there and not come back.
Oh my God.
You think that could be to ward people off too, because these are considered to be,
maybe, but
ancient pyramids.
Yeah, I'm going by blackfella stories. So it's a interdimensional gateway, whatever you want to call it, what language you want to call it. They just say it's a no-go zone. Like up where you are, you got the male area, you got the female area. There's reasons for it, energetically speaking. Then you've got the no-go at all area, which is that Black Mountain place. We've got things here too, which the stories behind them. And for me and you, fair-skinned people, well, for me it might be a bit different, but it's stuff that you might know about it, but you don't want to go messing with it. And that's
Mary's got a hand up. Can I just bring her in? Go ahead, Mary. Are you there?
Very small.
She's doing her workshop, I think.
All right, yeah, I should put down.
Yeah, I was going to say, Costa, it's interesting you say that, because I remember reading in a lot of Carlos Castaneda's work a long time ago. His master had said to him not to go to particular South American pyramids because it messes with the human energy field.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's a place not even 10 minutes away from me. It's a quartz reef. It's a quartz, like a pretty big. And I just wanted to have a look at it. And I went there, and I was invited by a black snake.
Yeah.
So in other words, saying just don't go back there, Costa. It's, and being quartz, that energy associated with it, and this being gold country. So because I'm in the central gold fields, and this is that's like that. That's the land's telling you don't come back. So anyway, and
different to seeing a brown snake on your path then.
Yeah, I had one on my front doorstep the other day. second deadliest snake.
Yeah. Oh, my girlfriend loves them when they cross her path when we're out hiking, or she's been hiking on her own. They're always an omen for her that there's big change coming.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. But this black snake at this particular spot, because of the energy associated with it too, being quartz,
now I understand why people don't come back. They get killed by the black snake.
Yeah.
I thought black snake was an Aboriginal chief, but it's a real black snake.
Yeah, but they do have a thing here called Mindy in Victoria, which is the local version of the rainbow serpent. I'm talking now being but here it's the guardian of the land, and that creature is it's controlled by the magic, the clever man. So if you break law here, that serpent it'll jump from tree to tree.
Oh my God.
Now I'm talking, metaphorically.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, and it'll come and punish you. So that's that serpent. And there's a structure not far from me, which is, they call it Mindy, and that's a stone structure up there. And it's an interesting story there. It's just the stories behind them, which like you'll get used to it, Ben, once if you do a lot of reading the Dreamtime stories, and you get into dowsing and the energies and that, you can see the language they use. But yeah, this the serpent, but yeah.
Yeah, what would you recommend? Where would I start?
What would you like to learn about? What do you?
I would, I'd like to extend my because I do feel I got a strong current for dowsing. I noticed that I get very strong signals. I just like to understand more how their way to ask questions more appropriately of lines, of water channels, and of places.
Yeah, I've sent you my email address, so we'll hook up there. But
thanks, mate. Yeah,
no, that's cool. It depends, what's your interest, because I follow protocol, especially with song lines and that type of stuff, and being on country, because I'm adopted via treaty, so I'm careful in what I say. But like I said earlier, I'm connected with a lot of archaeologists, anthropologists, and all that sort of stuff, where you can cross-reference basically the earth, which is what I'm interested in, is the land, earth energy system, with the whatever druidic system, you know, Native American. It's all universal. It's but it's a different language. You know, like the rainbow serpent to me is the 7 colours of the rainbow that make up the light. Then you can call that light transfers to plasma to consciousness, water, and in between. That's sort of trying to keep it simple for you, Ben.
No, I'm following you a bit.
Yeah. Because I got drawn into this because of the work that I was doing. I was a traffic controller, and
air traffic controller.
No.
Oh,
road traffic.
Okay, yeah.
Quickly, we were having a yak in the lunch break, and the old fella made up 2 dowsing rods, because we're working on the electricity pole. And he made these rods up, and he says, "I reckon you can do this." And you know, I had that, you know, I had the spiritual, you know, feel stuff that I was interested in, and he said, "Well, see that line on the W on the gutter? That's water. That's where the water went." Pipe under the road. And he said, "Well, go across there, see if your rod's crossed." So I said a little prayer, divine whatever, can you know, help me do this? And I did it, and I started from that. Yeah, and then, you know, because I was involved in Aboriginal spirituality, interested in their religion, that's how I crossed the paths. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's what happened to me back then, you know, being taught by masters here and, you know, overseas. And but you know what, the way the stories are written up here, it's just another way. Yeah, the language they use, you know, rainbow serpent, yeah, which is, you know, the one. Then you've got the feathered serpent. But yeah, I can give you a hand, put you right. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, you're in a really good spot there. To you know, locate stuff. And
I feel a bit amateurish in what I'm doing, but I'm just drawing on what I remember Michael teaching me once. My girlfriend, she's clairvoyant, but she'll ask me to douse certain things that she's deciding on, and I often have this back and forth with her when she's trying to ask a question for me to ask the douse, because she thinks I'm a little Asperger's about specific way of asking a question. But, you know, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, you've got to be really specific how you ask a question too, don't you?
Yeah, of course, and have it in your head, because that pointer guy, there's a whole heap of us in Australia that are, you know, interested in what we're talking about. There's song lines, earth energies, and, you know, all that. And we all know each other. Some of us don't have anything to do with each other. But, you know, that pointer guy, this guy I've known, he does songline tours in Australia. Anyway, I've followed him for years. And, you know, I read an article he wrote which mentioned fella's name, and there he comes up again. And then I looked his book up. Oh, God, geez, they're expensive. I've got it, so, you know, one day I'll get to it. But and there you mention it. But yeah, there's a whole heap of us. Not a heap. It's like one of my, I call him my science teacher, because he's a scientist and he's worked with all these different people. But you know, not everyone's interested. You know, there's a small group of us, and you know, like,
well, Michael, he always talked about the British Dowsing Society, and it's just funny. My girlfriend has been on your subscription list for emails for a long time, she said. And when I talked about Michael, she said, "Oh, I'll have to." So she started sending me these emails, and I just got this tonight, and it was the right timing just to jump on to say hello. But Michael, he did tell me he was involved with you guys, the British Dowsing Society, quite a bit over the years. And one of the things, he came to Australia, just an interesting little side story. He came when I was 18. He stayed with me and a partner at the time. And he was going off to douse Lassiter's Reef. in the middle of Australia. So you'd probably know a little bit of the story of the vein of gold that's somewhere out there. And he had maps that he'd gotten from a professor that had taught him dowsing, that had been his mentor. And he brought those maps out here with the actual points he was interested in obtaining land and mining rights to.
But